is we came up with some questions. And so we found amongst all the people we work with, and these are pretty straightforward questions, but not everybody asks them. So we wanted just to give you a few questions. Say, hey, these are questions that anybody should ask about using any of the products out there, whether it's our products, someone else's products, or any type of other product. Is if we're looking at changing a product or having one, is like, how long has the company been in business? That doesn't mean to say that something new could be developed that could be awesome, but what it does goes to show that is if someone's been around for a long time, that there's success. Most companies fail within the first 3 years. And so if you can get past 3 years, that means you have something of worth and that can be, celebrated, obviously, but also seems to provide solutions and solve problems. What is in the product, right? What is it made of? Is there substantial proof, right? That to us has been pretty important, right? You want to be able to know not just what people say they can do, right? You want to be able to know that they have done it, right? And how long they've done it, and how frequently and whereabouts have they done it, right? You want to be able to see that it can be accomplished in multiple situations, across multiple areas, and with different types of wastewater, so they can show that, hey, yeah, this is substantial proof. You want to be able to understand how it works. Different products have different ingredients. Some focus only on aerobic activity. Some have so that's like some of our competitors have products that have contents in it that are single bacterias or only bacteria that focus in aerobic conditions. Sludge is broken down in anaerobic conditions most effectively at the bottom of the lagoon where there's very little or no air or oxygen. And so you want to be able to know how it actually functions and be able to do it. Right? You want to understand how effectively, based on cost effectiveness, right? There's two components there. We can just compare just on cost, just on the dollar value, but it's not necessarily the dollar value that should be the comparison. It's the cost effectiveness. How effective is it? One product might cost more than another, but is 10 times or 100 times more effective based on the impacts. And so you want to be able to say, okay, X costs so much. Yes, and this was a quote from perhaps one of our competitors, but if ours is more expensive, you need to look at, okay, compared to what their results, their proven success, and the ability they have to reduce sludge at their volume, um, is that comparable? Or do you have to use 10 times or 2 times or 3 times more product of theirs, which then gets way more costly to be able to get close to the same results? So it's a pound for pound, not a very easy comparison. And so that becomes a bit more tough of a question, but it's a good one to really figure out. And then how easy is it to use? Is it easy to broadcast in, share, or is there mixing, or is there agitation, or what other things are required um, to get the job done? The last two questions are more about understanding the product. Who manufactures the product? We ask that question and advise people to do that so they can understand if the company they are buying these products from or these technologies actually have the understanding behind the product. Right? Do they develop it? Are they wholesalers? Are they just a representative? And is the company in Canada? I know there was some issues back during COVID getting stuff across the border. Is it made in Canada? Is it supplied in Canada? And then those of us who are proud to be Canadian, most of us, right, to support Canadian companies and Canadian people, right? Is it a Canadian company? So here are some of the answers that how we would answer those questions. So Actizyme's been around for 70 years. To have any company last 70 years is phenomenal. Not only that, but we still have a good reputation in results, and a good reputation with our clients. Many of you who have used it for over 25 years. So what does Actizyme contain? So it's actually a consortium of over 70 different types of bacteria. is not one type of bacteria. It's not just aerobic bacteria. There's aerobic, facultative, and anaerobic bacteria. And heavily on the anaerobic because anaerobic bacteria is what breaks down the sludge. That's the core issue in your lagoons and in your effluent quality is breaking down the suspended solids, the organics, into its simpler forms. Plus, we have a wide spectrum of enzymes, right? You have all the enzymes from lipase to protease, I think it is. I don't know if I said that right, but protein to lipids to carbohydrates, everything in between are all that enzymes are there to break them down. So we have over 50 case studies, research lab reports, projects, hundreds of customer references from BC, Ontario, internationally, all highlighting the product's effectiveness. And a third-party company, I don't know if you know who Canoe Procurement is, or if any of you have used them. I know some of you have. Canoe Procurement put out a tender across all Canada for all products, for all biological treatments. And they went through a very intense process comparing everything in all of these questions in detail. And they picked that design as the most cost-effective, reputable company in Canada. And so approved with them across Canada, which is huge. That's a third-party company, has no connection or bias, and has went through and picked Actizyme as amongst all other products. Actizyme, what it really does, so it simply speeds up the natural decomposition of organic material. By doing that, it reduces all major pollutants. So this is just nature on steroids. It just improves the digestion significantly so that it's able to reach your objectives. And I always tell everybody, it's a function of time, product, temperature, and the type of waste you have. If you can change any one of those, you can improve your results. So if you had it heated like or warm like in Africa and South America, or if you add more product, or if your waste, is industrial waste versus municipal waste, those are all factors that we play in to make adjustments to be able to get the results that you want to get. So as far as cost comparison, sludge reduction for Actizyme is typically 1/3 of the cost of manual removal. So when you're getting quotes for manual removal and it's upwards to 100,000, 200, I've heard all the way up to $1 million for some systems. This is a fraction of the cost. And you don't have to take your system offline. You don't have to worry about damaging the system with mechanical equipment. You don't have to worry about disposal of the digested sludge. You don't have to worry about it all. It all happens within the system on site and naturally. As far as maintenance goes, it averages between $6 to $6.80 per person per year to maintain their system, which is a fraction of the cost of any treatment plant that's out there. So when you look at treatment plants, they're often like $60, $70 per person per year to manage when they could use and maintain a simple lagoon system and use our product to improve its treatment rather than going to a mechanical treatment plant. So there are some significant advantages there. Though Actizyme also boasts one of the highest, most effective biological solutions for reducing sludge. Amongst all of our competitors, I've seen multiple presentations. I won't mention any names or companies or products, but the best we've seen that's been out there promoted is somewhere around 13 to 15% reduction in 2 years. We've had over 80% in 1 year, multiple times across multiple systems. So the cost effectiveness of Actizyme is extremely high compared to all other competitive products and or options. Going either manual, sorry, I'm kind of congested today, you can probably hear. Compared to manual or other type of products, Actizyme definitely has the most bang for the buck. Actizyme products are also pre-packaged, easy to use, pre-measured. We just tell you how many bags to use and apply in each location. They're used in lagoons and for treatment, but also in sewers. Someone did ask a question, and I saw that, and I was going to answer it. That was John. Can it be used in lift stations? Yes, of course. You can throw into lift stations and sewers. I know there's quite a few on the line that do that, that put it through their system. Um, you're right about the short cycle time. If it's extremely fast, it may not have enough time to do much in the system. And so dispersing it across all areas in a collection system, or having direct contact on top of buildup, so that it has enough time to get to work. So there's different ways we can apply and move over there. Another question here is on extended aeration. Yeah, so we have quite a few facilities that have a lot of aeration, especially in Saskatchewan. But we've did some in Alberta and in BC as well, where the whole system's aerated. And in fact, I didn't put it into this one because I'm speaking in it in Banff. Where I'm going to be going around speaking about the project in Diamond Valley, and so I didn't want to have it's a whole new project, whole new game and issues that they had there. So I'll be talking in Banff. We'll be presenting it hopefully in other provinces as well. Their whole system's aerated, and we were able to reduce their sludge by 70% in a year. It was awesome, even with major challenges and illegal dumping of the tens of thousands of cubic meters of sewage that destroyed the lagoon. We were still able to clean up their lagoon and see major improvements in their sewer lines and reduction of sulfur gas production, etc., etc. So we'll be presenting that at the conferences coming next year. And we did talk about it a little bit at Water Week this year in Alberta. So it does function in aeration systems, improve it. In fact, we just did a project in Drumheller. They have a full aerated system, wastewater plant, and they had like a lagoon, kind of small lagoon holding cell where the sludge had just overwhelmed it, packed it tight and solid. We put the product in there and it had loosened and broke up all the solids so that they had their aeration system can get back on track. So it was very overloaded and we were able to reclaim the system for them in Drumheller. And at the end here, as we mentioned, Actizyme is owned and operated by Canadians, proudly made in BC, Canada. We are the manufacturer, the wholesaler. We understand the product, everything that goes in it. We know everything that goes in it. We are able to make adjustments. We provide and have made multiple different types of products based on the knowledge that we do have, which is part of the greatest successes, I think, of Actizyme over the last, you know, few decades is that because we're the manufacturer, we know what's in it. We can make the changes. We can make the improvements that are required to have the results that we want to have.